While I was in nursing school, the first thing I noticed was that I was extremely tired. I was having a hard time staying awake in class. I had started noticing lumps in my neck that started off small, and then it became almost like a football-shaped one in my neck. So next is incisional biopsy, and that's, they put you under, it's a surgical procedure. They're gonna take out one of the masses entirely and send it off for pathology and find out what's going on. So my first job that I was able to land was actually at AdventHealth. I had only one interview, and it's exactly where I wanted to be. I loved the company, I loved its values, I loved what was going on at the hospital. And once I started working and I was able to get a steady income going in after my first 2 paychecks, first thing I did was go back to that same doctor and say, hey, I think this test is a possibility now. I'd like to find out what's going on. Originally, my original doctor's visit, he said, yep, this is the working man's cancer. You'll be able to handle it. No problem that it's night shift. And I said, okay, that sounds good. That's great. I just started. I was on my own after orientation for 2 days. I had done 2 shifts on my own before I got my first round of chemo. And I went back to work 3 days after chemo, and I didn't make it through my first shift. I had to go home at midnight. And I went back to the doctor the next day, and he says, it's not gonna cut it. You're gonna have to take 6 months leave of absence, and you're just gonna have to take the hit and be better at the end of it. So I ended up contacting my manager that day, and they were always very understanding. My nurse manager said, whatever you need, we got you covered. Don't worry about any of it. Just do what you need to do, and we'll be waiting for you when you come back. Manager, unknowingly, reached out to me and said, there's this thing I'm not sure you've heard about. It's called the Hope Fund, and it helps AdventHealth employees who need help. And I said, well, that would be perfect. So once I submitted my application to the Hope Fund, it was a very quick process. I knew within a week, and someone contacted me and said, here are your funds, how can we use them? And I said, I would love my rent and the utilities to be covered, and they said, no problem. Took care of it, wiped the slate clean, and I was able to move forward, move out of the apartment, and move forward with my treatment. I've been on the oncology unit for about 3 weeks, and I've already been able to use my story. I had a patient that a freshly placed port, and I said, it itches, doesn't it? And they're like, yeah, it really does. And I was like, yeah, mine itched like crazy, but what helps if you just rub it. Don't scratch it, just rub. And they're like, wow, that really does help, thank you. So I got immediate gratification out of knowing that I feel where I'm supposed to be. I'm able to use my story. These patients are gonna benefit from it. I'm gonna benefit from it. I think it's the best possible scenario. So without the Hope Fund, my last month of rent in that apartment would have been impossible to get. It would have been a time of stress and anxiety, and I honestly don't know where it would have come from or how it would have happened. But with the Hope Fund, I was able to focus on treatment, focus on getting better, and focus on moving forward with the process rather than worrying about what was behind me. My name is Tyler Jesdahl. I am a surgical oncology nurse at AdventHealth Orlando.